I call to order the January 6th meeting of the Lansing City Council. Per the city charter, until the council elects a president, I preside at the meeting. So I will take the roll. Councilmember Brown. Present. Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Garza.
Here.
Councilmember Hussein.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson. Councilmember Cost.
Here.
Councilmember Pelivanoglu. Councilmember Spatafor. 8 members are present, a quorum, no members are absent, and we are to the meditation and pledge of allegiance. Is there anyone, council member or the mayor, that would like someone to be remembered during the moment of meditation? Councilmember Hussein.
Yeah, I'd like us to remember the friends and family of Miss Gloria Banks. Gloria died at 76 years of age on Christmas, believe it or not. And folks that know her know that she was, first she was 33-year employee with the state of Michigan, Department of the Secretary of State. And then she was just an absolute fierce advocate, I think, for all things South Lansing, I think specifically the Churchill Downs neighborhood, and was really passionate about her friends and family. So to that end, I want folks to remember in their thoughts and prayers tonight, support for her brother Gary, Mr. Gary Haynes, his wife Carla Haynes, his sister who actually resides in, or her sister, sorry, who actually resides in Churchill Downs, Miss Judy Redding, as well as Mike Redding. And then I wanted to just read a very small part of her obituary, because folks that know Glo know just how special of a person she was, and I thought they nailed this in terms of this obituary piece. It says, God put her on earth to help people smile. She spent quite a bit of her time making sure others felt welcomed and included. The term social butterfly wasn't strong enough to describe her. She loved her friends more than they could ever imagine. Her friendships were lifelong, and they were life-giving. She always made it a point to take an interest in her friends and their lives, if only to show them that they weren't alone. She could light up a room simply by willing into it. If you were to ask her friends to name one special memory about Glo, they would probably describe an extravagant holiday outfit that she was wearing. She loved to be over the top to make sure that everyone else around her was comfortable in their own skin. She always had a greeting card, kind word, or even a tough word when you needed it. And folks, I was at the other end. A lot of, in terms of those tough conversations, I was on the other end, of that phone call. But absolutely, you needed those tough conversations. She was there to have those tough conversations. She was certainly gracious that she had those conversations. She often listened more than she talked, because she understood the value of being heard. She lived her life vibrantly and out loud. She wanted to get the most out of it, out of life, and she certainly did. And so again, just an incredible, I think, life well lived, and I certainly hope folks remember her and her family tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to be remembered? Okay, let's rise for a moment of meditation. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we are to our special orders. We have the election of City Council President and Vice President for the year 2025. We have a resolution. Is there a motion on the resolution? Councilmember Hussein.
Sure, I would move the resolution that reflects Ryan Cost as being president for 2025 and Ms. Tamira Carter as vice president.
All right. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Congratulations, President Cost and Vice President Carter. We'll hand the gavel.
All right, well, then we are on to
We are to approval
Yeah.
of the Print Council proceeding.
Vice President Carter.
I move the minutes as presented for December 16th.
We have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we are to comments by council members and the city clerk.
Sorry, just very quickly, I'm sorry. We are having our third ward constituent contact meeting this Saturday, which is January 11th at 10. That's at 5825 Wise Road. Certainly hope folks can make it out. We are going to have our Ingham County Treasurer, Mr. Alan Fox, on hand, as well as a couple of our county commissioners. I know for a fact Miles Johnson will be there, as well as Commissioner Morgan. I have extended invites to a few other folks. And the idea is to talk, obviously, about some recent ballot initiatives. One, obviously being successful with the housing and homelessness millage, and then the other being the failed lodging excise tax. And what that was really meant, purpose meant to serve, and what they are potentially considering as a board moving forward with, as an example, maybe reintroducing that next calendar year. But that being said, we will also have a number of representatives on hand from really kind of across, not just our ward, but across the city of Lansing. We like to create, obviously, that access and make sure that we cover a number of issues for folks. And then we'll dive deep into South Lansing issues, and then issues that are before the city council. And then the other thing is I wanted to just very quickly congratulate Mr. Cost and Ms. Carter. I think they're going to do an exceptional job this year. So I was proud to support that slate. I think I think we have some exciting work ahead of us. I think we're going to I think dig deep into the work, engage our constituency at a high rate. And I think you two are well positioned, I think, to really model that for us and kind of lead the way. So congratulations. Look forward to supporting you in any way I can. Thank you.
Councilmember Spatafor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to echo what Councilmember Palavanoglou said just before the break last year, that the at-large members are coming together to do constituent contact meetings with an aim to not conflict with existing meetings. Our first one will be on Saturday, the 25th, January 25th, at 10 a.m. to noon at the Capital Region International Airport. So there's rooms there, and the information will be found this week. We'll be able to share on our social media pages as well as through our office manager. So,
Thank you. No further comment? All right.
And I have no announcements, so we are to community event announcements. If you have a community event, you have 1 minute to tell us the details.
Okay. So the next Old Everett Neighborhood Association monthly meeting will be on next Wednesday, January 15th at 6:30 p.m. from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 3525 South Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, the Village Lansing. We are still in need of a larger board. We still need a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer, a communications director, as well as regular board members for the Kavanaugh and Kendon precincts. If you're interested in those positions, please fill them out. And I also have a guide on our Facebook page. I hope to put on our website so that you know what those positions are.
Anyone else with community event announcements? All right, seeing none, then we are to speaker registration for public comment on legislative matters. And legislative matters, if you haven't already signed in, you need to sign in on the blue sheet in the next half a minute or so. The only thing eligible for comment is the election of the president and vice president. We do have one person who has submitted written comments, or one couple, Mitch and Candy Rice, in support of President Cost and Vice President Carter. Okay, so we have no one for public comment on legislative matters. We are to the mayor's comments.
Mayor Shore.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, congratulations to you, Mr. President, and you, Madam Vice President. Excited to work with the both of you and this entire council for another year. Looking forward to 2025. Wanted to make sure you all and the folks watching at home know that our neighborhood grants portal is now open. It'll be open until early March. We already have 15 submissions. We're also going to have a learning session and idea review dates on January 7th, 16th, and 23rd, and February 6th, 20th, and 26th. And anybody that is interested in learning more or trying to figure out the best way to apply or what to apply for can contact our neighborhood resource Coordinator, Robin Anderson King, and she can schedule time with you at any time. Our next Neighborhood Advisory Board meeting is January 16th at 5:30 p.m. I am excited to announce we have 7 new police recruits in the police academy, so that's good news for us. Additionally, we will have a police promotional ceremony this Friday, so congratulations to all those being promoted. And we'll have a Lansing Fire Department awards ceremony also on this Friday. So congratulations to those getting awards with our fire department. And finally, as we look at the progress from our public safety millage that we are paying for, today, probably about 10 a.m., LFD Station 2, which is on North Grand River east of MLK over by Paisanos, was demolished. So there's a big heap of rubble there now that will be cleared out over the next few days, and construction will start on the new station this month. So if you go down over on the south side, over at South Washington, in your district, we know that there's a lot of dirt moving for the new facility, the new public safety facility, but we're also seeing things move on the fire stations as they're happening together at the same time. So things are happening, dirt's moving, and we're seeing progress for our police officers and our firefighters. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor Shore.
Okay, that takes us all the way to speaker registration for public comment on city government-related matters. That's the yellow sheet in the back, and we'll give you another minute to sign in with Brian if you have not done so already. And in the meantime, we're to reports of city officers, boards, and commissions.
I move all items be considered as being read in full and that the proper referrals be made by the President Costs.
All right, we have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we have items from the city clerk, minutes of boards and commissions.
Place on file.
And a nonprofit recognition, Communities in Schools of Michigan, Inc.
City operations.
From the mayor, we have grant acceptance, Let's Tennis Courts Rehabilitation and Construction from the MNRTF.
Ways and Means, internal auditor.
And grant acceptance, Office of Financial Empowerment, OS Reentry Program.
Ways and Means, internal auditor.
And communications and petitions, and affidavit of disclosure, Jason Davis of the Lansing Police Department.
Ethics board.
And we are to remarks by council members. Okay, we are to additional remarks by the mayor. Okay, public comment on city government-related matters. First, we have Linda Keefe, followed by Nicholas Zandy. And you have up to 3 minutes to address the city council on city-related issues.
Okay, thank you. And Linda Keefe, I'm former Ingham County Commissioner, and I used to represent part of the east side of Lansing. And I'd like to say congratulations to President Coast and Vice President Carter. It's come to my attention that many Board of Water and Light customers are experiencing much, much higher bills with the installation of the new smart meters. And so it's causing shutoffs and reconnect fees, and it's just multiple people that I've heard from for over at least a year about this. Also, the Board of Water and Light, as you know, made the change so that they can shut off people during the winter. And I know there's a lot, low-income heating assistance program money and many other programs throughout the city, but it's not enough to cover the cost for people, that have been shut off. And the Board of Water and Light is municipally owned, and I believe that it's important for City Council to address these concerns for its residents. Okay, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Nicholas Zandy, followed by David Ellis.
Thank you. Nicholas Zandy, and I'm the president of the Old Ever Neighborhood Association. First, I'm going to say congratulations to you, Ryan Kost, for being the new city council president. You'll certainly have an easier, as I've said before, you'll certainly have an easier time than a certain Speaker of the House nationally, because he won't have to deal with partisan divisions. Same thing for you, Ms. Carter, and your new position as the City Council Vice President. It's good to have some Old Everett representation. Having said that, speaking of that, the Old Everett neighborhood, there are sign toppers on the wrong side of the street on Green Lawn, as the boundaries of Old Everett are supposed to be south of Green Lawn, and some of them are north of Green Lawn, and that's the wrong side of the street. That's Greencroft Park. That's not the Old Everett neighborhood. I don't know why they're on the wrong side of the street. They need to be moved. Also, I'm going to speak a bit about, again, my positions on the whole at-large thing. The at-large thing, like, I have nothing against the at-large positions, but, like, not people, the people on the at-large seats, but the positions themselves, that I do have a problem with. Because there's just too many at-large, doing it half at-large again, you're just inviting way too much representation for one area of the city over another, leaving an entire section of a city ignored. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, if you get rid of at-large, won't that make forgotten neighborhoods more forgotten? No, it won't. In fact, it will actually uplift them more often, because by then they'll actually have more representation from their areas. Because I'll say this, there's a pattern of at-large positions ignoring several neighborhoods. I mean, just look at Detroit. When they were all at-large, they pretty much ignored most poorer neighborhoods, and many of those poorer neighborhoods were angry about it, and they got a ballot proposal passed to reduce the number of at-large to 2 seats, and it opened up the representation, and actually the city's actually recovered because of that. So, honestly, if we did apply that same thing, and we did the same thing by getting rid of the at-large, or at least reducing it, maybe we'll get rid of that problem of forgotten neighborhoods being underrepresented. And again, Old Everett might be big enough to host its own ward. That's all I need to say, and I'll yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Next, we have David Ellis, followed by Claire West.
David Ellis, downtown Lansing resident. All right, let's keep it short and sweet. I just wanted to do a quick year review for last year. So there was some good and a lot of bad. So the 2 good things I want to say is, of the 1,127 houses that were hoped to be built in downtown, we saw 483, which is only a fraction of the 1,100, but I think it's a good first step. It did take $40 million from the state, which we'll probably never see happen again. So for this next year, we need to be on top of pushing as hard as we can for these developments, going out and finding developers and trying to convince them that, hey, it is worth investing in this city. As far as like improving infrastructure, I would give the city of Lansing an F last year. I don't think I saw a single inch of like dedicated bike lane built. I didn't see any pedestrian improvements that have like had any influence on my life. So let's get on that this year. Let's have this year be a much better year than last year. So Happy New Year.
Thank you. Next, we have Claire West and then Loretta Stanaway.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to say thank you to Vice President Carter, Peter Spatafor, Adam, and Trini for donating to the Churchill Downs Christmas celebration. So thank you very much for your donation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Loretta Stanaway, followed by Nate Ford.
First, I wanted to report on the results of our Friends of Lansing's Historic Cemetery's silent auction to bid away an hour inside the Areoles Mausoleum. We hit $1,000 on our bid with that, and we are extremely happy with that and pleased with the results. Second, the system that we have now for our phones does not identify who we are calling. If we can try to reach a city person and get past the 211 and try to get to an actual phone number, when we hear a message, it just says, you have reached this number. We don't know if we've reached the person we're trying to reach or not, if they've moved on, if they're at a different desk or in a different job or off the payroll altogether. So I really encourage the city to look at that. So when there's a voice message announcement, it says you have reached the desk of blah, blah, blah. And lastly, something I recently became aware of, and it was touched on briefly with the affidavit of disclosure for a police officer. A police officer can file an affidavit of disclosure 20 years ago and move up through the ranks over those 20 years into different positions, different responsibilities, and never have to refresh or update or reinstate that affidavit of disclosure. And I think there is a gap there. I think there needs to be a way that says when somebody in that kind of a position is promoted, they have to either refile or restate or something of that nature that shows that there's still an active affidavit open on their position. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Nate Ford, followed by David Hokanson.
Good evening. My name is Nate Ford. I'm one of the co-founding members of the Lansing Entheogens and Psychedelic Society. I've been in front of the Lansing City Council last year, earlier in the year. It's been a while, and we came here tonight to reintroduce ourselves to the new Lansing City Council members that were elected in November, and also to remind you all that our message, our mantra is still the same. Please decriminalize, decriminalize, decriminalize here in the city of Lansing. We feel that the most humane, loving, kind, and one of the leadership skills that you can show is by giving the citizens of in the community of Lansing and the state of Michigan as many options as possible to address whatever is ailing them. And many of those issues and the things that we're hearing about every other week here at Lansing City Council at the Lansing City Council meetings, a lot of those things can be addressed and helped with entheogens and psychedelics. The Lansing Entheogens and Psychedelic Society's mission is to cultivate safe spaces for people to share their experiences, connect, and gain knowledge of entheogens and psychedelics in order to heal and progress as human beings. We'll be here in the next couple weeks and months to come, and we'll be here afterwards. If any of you are interested in speaking with us, we've already met with some of the Lansing City Council members to discuss and answer any questions that they may have, and we'd love your support to follow the example already set by the city of Ann Arbor, the city of Detroit, Hazel Park, Ferndale, Washtenaw County, and I think there's one other city that I'm drawing a blank on. But thank you for your time. Happy New Year. You guys all have a safe evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next we have David Hokanson.
I'm here to talk about the ordinance violation from the city of Lansing that I received on January 2nd, 2024, of which I filed an appeal within a timely manner to the city attorney office. Hey, yo, you want to look at this, bro? I'm talking to you. This was your office I filed for an appeal from, that I was never allowed to have a court hearing on an ordinance violation that by state law, an ordinance officer can issue if you sign off of the violation. Under MCL section 68711, if the defendant denies responsibility for the municipal civil and violation infraction, further action is not to be held without a sworn complaint is filed to the court. Are you aware of that, sir? Your office did this to me. Do you realize that? MCL 68713 says that an official who, knowing the statement was false, makes a material false statement on citation under section 8707 is guilty of perjury, a felony punishable by imprisonment for not more than 15 years, and in addition is in contempt of court. Do you know the law, sir? Does your office know the law? Because there were multiple false statements on this violation. First of all, Section 302 does not pertain to having scrap metal on your trailer in your driveway. It doesn't say anything about it, and the law says the ordinance has to be precise and direct so that any average individual would know it was wrong. I sent an email to the city council, to the mayor, and to the city's attorney's office stating that the law had been broken, my rights were violated, and nothing was done about it. February 2nd, I got the bill from you people for $685, which is ridiculous. I never did anything wrong. On the 21st of August, you had a hearing with my landlord who's a witness in this, and you're not supposed to be talking to a witness in a case, are you? No. So why won't you give my money back? What you did to me was illegal. Proof is right here. You all knew about it, but you're not giving me my money back. Y'all owe me $1,000. $1,000. And I will be joining you all on my federal complaint that I issued to the federal court because you did this, because it's called a 1986 claim, and every one of you will be on their individual.
Sir, officer, can you please remove this gentleman?
That was our final speaker.
If there's no further business before the body, we are adjourned at 7:26.